whole skill kind of like,
Yeah, sometimes it's just a bit weird. But like generally has been fine.
Does it not spill? Like, how do you wet the top up?
Fine.
Oh, then you should do it first. Because I've actually never done this. 15 grams. Small amount.
Before we start the timer.
So just 5 blocks of 50 grams.
And then you have to like that, right?
Yes. One more, last one.
Last one, okay.
So in total 5 pounds.
Yes, in total 5.
Actually, if you don't tear, then it might be good. So it will show you when it hits 250.
Because sometimes you overshot.
Yes.
That's why I tear for you. So you drink just about right. He said about 3 minutes.
Guys, we perfected it.
Grind size is good, guys.
What's the grind size?
Like,
So we know next time.
6. Like 6
So I think this
tong.
is...
Yeah, I know it's
Yeah, 6.
6. That's it, you're committing. So excited.
I am actually.
One.
Once you do this, you're like into coffee.
Yeah, no more casual enjoyer after this. We grind for 1 hour. You know?
But it's 12.
Wait, you mean actually
And we
grind for 1 hour?
haven't even drank a sip. It's 12.
We arrived at like 10 something. But this is a great way to start the morning.
Debatable. Do I really sacrifice sleep to grind coffee to combat my sleep deprivation?
Most important is that all the beans get wet. We'll close up shots of all the drink. We can. Oh, do you want to try?
I'll
Lester can do it, so can.
I don't know whether to take that as a
As in like
compliment.
the
Need more water?
Should be enough. Because I didn't overshot like everything. No, I'm kidding.
Hello, this is my brother. We're making coffee. You want coffee?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I didn't expect that. You can have this.
Wait, that's a new song.
no, doing this.
No, it just flows right down and you just That's okay.
How's the coffee?
Oh,
Oh,
oh!
Wait, you just drink it like
that's
that with
surprising.
milk?
You hear
It's
that was like
freshly-
real review.
Oh, y'all grind the coffee beans
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
So it just gently.
Not so. Timer not going.
Yeah, it just reset itself.
Sometimes it does that.
Perfect.
Okay, let's go. So the first coffee we will be trying is
Confidence.
So Confidence Coffee is a mix of 90% Robusta and 10% Arabica. And the taste profile described here is rich dark, chocolate and roasted nuts. It's of medium dark roast.
oh,
Like, you
it
tasted
smells
it?
so acidic today compared to the last one because we've tried this coffee before.
The last time we tried to film this video, it didn't make the cut. So
Too many bloopers.
too many bloopers. So this is the proper taste test.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I can taste the chocolate.
Hey,
The
if you have to
chocolate
look at him.
No, that's it. Like
What I taste is coffee. It's not so like bitter such that I'll scream. If I go into a cafe and I ask for a pour over, this is what I'll expect.
Surprisingly, I think we didn't mess up the pour over too much. In terms of the tasting notes, I feel like it's quite predictable for a medium to dark roast. I don't think it has a very distinctive taste profile, but it is a pretty smooth cup of coffee, and I think for everyday purposes, this works.
But I really do think that you can taste the chocolatey.
Yeah, tell us about the
notes.
chocolate.
Whenever you have dark chocolate,
Yeah.
then after you eat it, your mouth is like a bit acidic, and it's a bit like there's like a lingering
Yeah,
taste of
the lingering
chocolate, and
aftertaste,
it's the
yes.
exact same taste. So I think that you are getting what you pay for. if these are the flavors you're looking for, this is one of the nicer pour-overs I've had, I think.
This coffee is resolved. It has 50% Robusta, 50% Arabica. Taste profile is chocolate milk, fruity coffee blossom. And it's a medium roast. Wait, there's a little quote. There's a different quote on every bag.
What does this
So this is Winston Churchill.
Read it.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill.
Preach.
Cheers, preach!
I'm
Is it
good.
just me or
Thanks.
it kind of smells or tastes like soil?
It's the beans have extracted the acid.
I feel like it tastes more interesting, but in a more acidic and I'm in the forest kind of way.
I think it's a really good in between of like this coffee, which you would expect from like what if it tastes like coffee, and this is very much like a pour over.
Just comparing it to the previous coffee, I think this is slightly higher in terms of acidity and slightly lower in terms of bitterness, the
Yes.
lingering bitterness. I would prefer this. I can taste that it's more acidic, but I don't know if I were to compare it to like a fruit or a different type of fruit, like what I would compare it to. It doesn't stand out in that way. But I think it's generally a better balanced coffee, which I think reflects in the blend, right? Because it's 50% Robusta and 50% Arabica. So generally, I think I prefer this.
Generally like the taste of like really, really strong coffee. Very much like, you know, like kopi. So this is more reminiscent of kopi.
I see.
If I had to describe it, I would say an espresso shot that was slightly diluted with water.
Okay, so now we're gonna go for the next one, and it is
This is Fearless Coffee. It is a medium roast, and it's supposed to taste like cocoa, sweet raisin, and oak wood. Not many things that I would enjoy individually. The quote on this packet is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I also don't know. But he who is not every day conquering some fear has not learned the secret of life. Oh, sweet DeLiCaCy.
I guess we should feel like we're transported to the ranches.
Oh, can you smell the manure?
The oak wood.
Maybe that's why.
So now let's move on to our question of the day. How do you like your coffee? So there are many ways to have coffee, right? With milk, with oat milk.
And almond and soy.
Wait.
Your bias is showing.
The foam, you can have it with sugar, caramel, syrup. I don't know. So there's many ways
Or
of
like
having
sweetened.
it.
Like sweetened.
Yeah, just imagine if you go to Starbucks here to order something. What is your go-to order?
My go-to is usually ice oat latte.
Are you lactose intolerant?
No, I'm not actually.
Oh.
I'm just a bit more sensitive to the taste of dairy. But sometimes it just takes over a bit too much in the coffee.
You want more of the coffee.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Ice or latte. How about you?
Surprisingly, I also go for an ice.
Basic!
Tell me about it. Tell me.
I was expecting more varied answers.
To be fair, I feel like there are not many cafes in Singapore that do like very artisanal kinds of coffee. Because of what we have available, I just get an ice oat latte. I am sensitive to dairy in that like I will break out and I will, if we can bleep this out if it's too much, but I have the run.
It's okay, we all
and I have too
relate.
much dairy. The taste is pretty good too.
But if you
I
could
must-
choose, if you were not.
No. I can't go back. When I have like coffee with regular milk, I also can taste like the dairy now. Like the cow is mooing.
I see. I feel like once you go to oat milk or soy milk, you become more sensitive maybe to the taste.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
So outside, if you're hearing this,
Minor figure.
minor figures, you have a fan here.
Yes, I am a fan.
Mine is just a basic iced milk cow latte.
Cow
I had to
latte.
specify. Last time it's just iced latte, but then since like the oat came in, like invaded like Singapore, then I have to now clarify. I want cow milk. I actually like it when the cow is mooing. If like the coffee is bad, right, then at least the milk can cover the taste. A lot of the times it so happens that the coffee is like bitter or like
Yes, yes.
So I rather like just to be safe go with like
Yeah.
iced latte cow.
But have you ever considered or tried a pour over from a cafe? Like,
Oh, I have
why
actually.
latte instead of?
Like what if they don't do it right?
That's true.
What if they burn the coffee? Because if they do, it'll be like I'll just have to finish the whole thing.
It's not as enjoyable. Like
It's a much safer bet.
I feel like pour over coffee is something you do when you have time. Something you can sit there and really like appreciate. But if we're going about like day to day, it's just
Yeah.
nice to have coffee, milk, just be able
Cool.
to drink it.
You know, in terms of your daily beverage, latte goes down a lot easier than a pour over. Because
Yeah.
like you said, it's much easier to do it wrongly because you're
Yes,
really
yeah.
trying to highlight the flavors of the coffee, right?
Yes.
And if you don't extract it well, it's not well executed, then it can be maybe too bitter, too acidic, or maybe even just too
Yes.
dilute. You know, for daily survival when I'm at work, you know,
Okay, I get
the latte keeps me alive
Yeah.
a lot better than a pourover would. Now that we're getting into like pourover, like I would be interested to try a pourover from a like specialty coffee
Right.
place,
Yep.
like just to see how different it is from doing it at home.
Pourover is very much about technique and then also about the beans. So it's like if you don't do both of these things right, it's very easy for it to just be very, very acidic.
And also, I feel like it's a luck thing, right? Because everyone has different like preference when it comes to what kind of coffee like drink. The barista can describe to me the different kinds of like, oh, where is it from, what kind of flavor profiles, and blah blah blah. And but if I just so happen to choose one that's very different from what I like,
Yes.
so you gotta know like what to pick.
In an ideal world, my go-to order would not be an iced oat latte. It would be an iced oat cappuccino.
Oh.
But the thing is that many cafes don't do like iced cappuccinos, right?
They
Like
don't.
they just do it like an iced latte. So to
Yeah.
save myself the disappointment, I order a latte.
Can you tell us what's the difference between iced latte and iced oat cappuccino?
An iced oat cappuccino should have cold foam, like cold milk foam. But then I don't know how to do it also, so I can't say
Right.
that I know what it is. But I know that it's different.
Not all cafes offer iced cappuccino, right? Because they'll just
Yes.
ask, do you mean iced latte?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's happened to me many times.
Yeah.
I think you're the first person I know that like would choose specifically go for an iced cappuccino.
No.
Like I actually never heard.
I guess because you like the foam, is it?
I like that the milk taste is not so strong.
Ah.
Right. I think in like recent few years, there have been a lot more offerings in terms of espresso beans.
That's true.
Yeah, it used to just be like house blend, and the house blend would be similar tasting like across different cafes. It's always slightly more towards the like darker
Chocolatey,
roast, like
yeah.
chocolatey nutty flavors. Whereas in the past few years, I think I've seen more and more cafes offer different espresso beans, and like if the more acidic ones like the Ethiopia and Colombia beans. So nowadays if I find those, then like I would just go for it.
So you prefer like that flavor profile of espresso?
Yeah, very much actually.
Really?
Like Ethiopia and Colombia, like the fruitier profiles, the more
acidic.
I guess you would say
profile.
acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, this is gonna sound stupid, but what is espresso?
Is a strong shot of coffee that is extracted through passing like hot water at very high temperatures, passing through finely ground beans. I think it's both the process as well as the amount of water that is used to extract the coffee. So which is why apparently like without proper equipment, you can't actually do espresso at home.
I think the biggest thing is also like the pressure.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
The
pressure.
water that's like passing through. That's why like in a mocha pot, they say
Yeah.
you can make like espresso-esque
Ah.
coffee. I don't know whether it's actually espresso or not, but it's just because like in the chamber you build enough pressure that it forces the water out of the bottom.
Yeah.
And then that's how they make.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow, I guess we're not really casual coffee enjoyers,
Yeah.
are we?
Cheers! Oh, this is quite nice. Less acidic than the
Yes.
previous one. It's so clean.
I'll say I cannot distinguish between this and the first bag of coffee. Like in terms of the acidity, it's much milder, and then in terms of bitterness, it's also like higher. So when it comes to the balance of acidity and bitterness, I think it's
Right.
quite similar to the first one.
I feel like the first one was the lightest, and then the second one was acidic, and then this one is more like concentrated.
Yeah.
Like I taste a lot of the coffee.
Yeah, like the moment you drink it, it just hits you that okay,
Correct.
I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah, it's like whoa, coffee. This is like oh, coffee.
I think for pour-over, I've always enjoyed a fruitier coffee.
Okay, so the final coffee we have is called Aspirations. It's a 100% arabica medium dark roast. Taste profile is citrus fruit, cinnamon, and pepper.
Pepper.
Pepper is very
Wow.
interesting
I have high hopes for this.
because I've actually had pepper coffee before
What?
in Korea, like a pepper latte. It was amazing.
Wait, pepper latte as in they put pepper or?
Yes, they actually put pepper in it, so it's not the taste profile of the bean.
While we are doing that, another question for you guys.
Another question.
So, what is coffee to you?
Very
That is
deep.
very philosophical.
Is your relationship with coffee kind Maybe the easier question is, why do you drink coffee?
Oh,
So that kind of clarifies it.
I was just telling them recently that coffee started off as like a treat back in uni when my partner first introduced me to coffee. And then, you know, on after school or over the weekends, we would just go to... I mean, being broke uni students, I think the most expensive meal that we could afford back then was a nice like brunch situation. And then over brunch we'd just get a cup of coffee each. So then that's when I started to enjoy coffee, and that's how my relationship with coffee
Sorry, I used that term.
first began. So it started off as a treat, but
Yeah.
ever since I started work, it's become more like a necessity because I'm working late.
Because I'm a lawyer.
'Cause,
Cue Sabrina Carpenter. Instrumental version.
Imagine it.
it's become more like a necessity, and I would just survive on Nespresso capsules. I've always wanted to get into pourover,
Right.
but I always thought it was quite difficult to pick up, and I never really had the time to invest.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but now that I have a bit more time, and I realized from last week that actually pourover is not that scary as I thought
Yes,
it was. Then I decided to get into pourover because I want to enjoy coffee again like I used to.
Reclaim it. I think coffee for me, I started drinking coffee like I would say quite young, like when I was still in JC, which is like high school. Like my parents really like loved drinking coffee, and their order was always kopi gao siu dai, so it was like really so strong, and I think it just made me feel like an adult at that time. And also I heard that it keeps me awake, and I was super sleep deprived then.
JC days.
Just this, and coffee wasn't expensive in school, so I picked it up there. And then over time I started to like explore and see like what there was out there. Then you learn about the different types of coffee. I picked up pourover as a COVID hobby, like everyone else picked up a COVID hobby. I must say that like my life has not gotten any less sleep deprived. I still drink it very much for survival. That's why I gave up pourover coffee for a while, because it required too much enjoyment for me. As of today, yes, I just drink coffee like to wake up. I've resorted sometimes to instant coffee as well. Like sometimes you try to be like, okay, maybe today I'll cut down on caffeine.
Yeah.
But then I like get serious like headaches.
Withdrawals.
Yes. But you know, caffeine is a much better drug to be addicted to than most others, I would say. With fewer lifelong medical like implications. So I'm just like, so right now I just listen to my body. It's like if I need coffee, I drink it.
Shall we cheers first? Cheers. This one smells really different. Oh my god. Tastes like TCM.
Oh my god, you ruined it for me. Like, taste it.
You have ruined it for me as well. I do taste it.
taste it.
Sorry. Okay, they're having a deep thought about it. So, TLDR, for me in uni, I drank like too much coffee, and I drank instant coffee. So, like even capsule coffee was like a treat for me. You know, when my flatmate brought over the Nespresso machine to you, that was when it all went downhill. So we have non-instant coffee, but I drank it mostly to stay awake. So my caffeine tolerance is quite high, so I need a lot of coffee to keep me awake, which is not great. Yeah, but if you drink too much instant coffee, after a while you just really hate the taste of it.
How much you drank?
So you know when you buy instant coffee, comes in a jar, I take off the lid and then I pour it into the lid, and then I pour it into my cup, and then I stir, and then that's just how much I drink to stay awake. So it's really for survival.
Wow.
I know it's wow. How much
So
are you
you
drinking?
don't use a measuring spoon.
I skipped the spoon because you have to wash that. So essentially I had not so great experience with like coffee. I feel like it's something that reminds me of work stress and all that. But as we got into work, and then like we tried different, like I had the financial means to actually like, you know, buy nice coffee, and then my friend also introduced me to nice coffee in the UK. That's when I started getting into better tasting coffee, and I call that increased my standards.
Actually, same. The first time I understood that espresso can taste different was like because my friend bought an Illy coffee machine in our final year.
Wow.
And then so we would just buy like capsules, right?
Yeah.
We would buy like the 10 different flavors and I was like, oh, they really are 10 different flavors.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on the aspirations?
I don't want to resort to using TCM, but what I can say for sure is that I do not taste the pepper. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or bad thing in this context.
Yes.
Because it's not meant to be a pepper latte.
Yeah.
I enjoy it slightly better in the sense that it's not so in your face.
Yeah.
Like the moment you drink it doesn't just like punch you in the guts and be like, I'm coffee. It's slightly more acidic in a not so pleasant way.
Yeah. I really think it's a personal preference.
Yeah,
I know that there are definitely people who like this.
Yes.
I know a few in my personal life. To be fair, I feel like if you didn't hear Yufu say TCM, I'm
so sorry.
maybe that would not be your first thought, but it is quite prominent.
I feel like the second one, the sour taste like kind of blends in with the coffee. Whereas this, I can actually like feel like the sour is like bright. It's like, it's sour.
Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. This has a very strange acidity to it.
Yeah.
It's not balanced out by a bit of bitterness, so it really just stands out. On the other hand, this I think is too strong and too bitter for me. So these two are a lot more well balanced in my opinion, and like I mentioned, I prefer this because it's slightly more acidic than bitter compared to the first bag of beans.
My ranking would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Simply because like these two are quite tight for me, I think. I mean I feel like you know why I don't like these two.
Yeah, too
But,
acidic.
yeah, it's too acidic. But these two, I think it's more like I was thinking about it from the perspective of like if I had to buy the beans,
Yep.
like which one would I get? I think I'd probably get this one. Because even when I had it, like now that it's cold, like the flavors are still really nice.
Yeah. The order I will place it is 1, 2, 3, 4.
For convenience.
Not for convenience. I really like this because it's like light and it's not acidic. Ticks all the boxes, and like y'all said, even when I drank it like as a shot just now, like it was nice. This one is second because it's not too bitter. It's acidic, but it's not too bitter. I hate it more if it's very strong and very bitter. With that, we've come to the end of our tasting session.
Yay.
Right, and that's it from us, the casual coffee enjoyers. Bye. See you in the next one, and send us coffee.
Oh, send us whole milk too. Oh, sorry, dairy milk,
Milk.
for
Yeah,
dairy milk for Yufu.
Meiji, like